dear friends, welcome back to my channel, The Unstoppable Migrant. My name is Iman, and on this channel I share information that I consider relevant to everyone, but most especially to migrants and potential migrants that can get you started in your new environment, keep you motivated and connected to home, and get your confidence level one step up. In this video, I am going to talk a little bit about migration and some of the push and pull factors that prompt people to migrate from their home country. I thought it's important to say a little bit about migration before I go further with posting other videos, as it may be useful to some people, especially young people who may not necessarily know much about migration. So here's the thing. Every year, thousands of people take the decision to leave their home countries and move to another destination for reasons best known to them. A few years ago, I also took the conscious decision to leave my home, my family, my job, and I migrated to Europe in search for greener pastures. I came over for studies with the hope that after my studies, I will get that dream job that we all dream of getting when we complete school. However, I was hit hard with the realities of the Western world, and needless to say that it was a hard pill to swallow. This is an experience that a lot of us migrants go through, and we do our best to adjust according to the circumstances that we are faced with. I came over to study social and cultural anthropology and later on culture and development studies, and my interest in migration developed. I even did my end of course research on female migration in my home country, Cameroon, where I discovered the huge spike in female migration in recent years as compared to the past. Hearing similar stories from many migrants, both male and female, from home in Africa or other continents is what initially inspired the idea behind the creation of this channel and why it is dedicated to migrants. So what is migration, one would ask? Migration is simply the permanent change of location or address of a person, either occur within a given country from a rural to an urban area and vice versa, known as internal migration, from one country to another, known as international migration, or from one continent to another, known as intercontinental migration. In the past, migration was solely a male thing, as it was common for the male or head of the family to leave home to go and look for a better source of living for the whole family. In recent years, however, more women are joining the equation as more women are becoming breadwinners in most societies. What are some of the reasons why people migrate? There are many reasons why people travel and people leave their home countries, and these are categorized into push and pull factors. For one, the reason for migrating may be for family well-being. For another, it may be for personal gains, while for another it is for freedom and safety and an absolute must. People therefore migrate for socio-economic, political, religious, and cultural reasons, and here we refer to it as push and pull factors of migration. Push factors refer to reasons why people are pushed out of their place of origin, while pull factors are the things or aspects that pull a migrant into his or her country of destination. Some of the push factors are social factors, which include poor services, lack of education, lack of or poor medical care, to name a few. We also have economic reasons, which include unemployment, poor salaries or poor pay, terrible working conditions, and political reasons, which include persecution and war. And finally, we have cultural persecution, which will include child or forced marriages, female mutilation, just to name a few. The pull factors will be those things that you seek that are the opposite of what you escaped from your home country. Here we can think of socio-economic and political stability, such as food availability, available and better services, better medical care or services, job opportunities, better quality of life, good salaries or good pay, as well as political freedom and democracy. For a migrant to leave his or her home country to a better destination doesn't necessarily mean that things will be better for him. Not all migrants get lucky, as the life that is sought ends up becoming worse than the life met in the new destination. Reference can be made to what is going on around the world now in terms of the health crisis, the abuse of democracy in America, the ceaseless racism and discrimination vetted on foreigners on a daily basis all around the world. But in spite of it all, for some migrants it is far better than their previous situation, while some regret their decision and end up either in depression and eventually suicide for the shame of being considered a failure, or some end up going back home and facing shame and ridicule. There are different forms of migration, which are asylum seekers, and these are mainly people fleeing war or some sort of persecution in their home country. The Geneva Convention is quite clear on this. It states that no person may be sent back to a country where they face inhumane treatment, torture, or a death penalty. We also have labor migration, which is based on the hope of a better economic future, and more often than not, it is difficult for people from poor countries to get a work or residence resident visa in a rich country. Some end up either entering the country in an informal way or remaining in the country after their tourist visa has expired, and they are then referred to as illegal migrants. We also have migration of expats or trained personnel, which takes place between developed countries and developing countries. And this is one of those forms of migration that is desired and encouraged by the destination country. So where do people migrate from, and where do people migrate to mostly? According to the UN migration data, and understandably so, most migrants migrate mainly from Asia, South America, and Africa to the US, which thanks to former President Donald Trump has become less of a democratic nation than it used to be. Hopefully, the new administration under President Biden will set things right again. Then you have the Canadian Skilled Migrant Program, which also allows a lot of migrants to move to Canada. Migrant influx is also noticeable to Russia, to Germany, Saudi Arabia, the UK, Spain, France, and Italy, especially African migrants. The irony about Italy is that more and more young educated Italians are moving to other parts of Europe for better job opportunities. Most migrants opt to relocate to countries that are their colonial masters due to visa and language ease. Now, according to data from the UN, in 2015, about 244 million people lived out of their country of origin, which makes about 3.3% of the world's population. And today, about 272 million people globally live out of their country of origin, making it 3.5% of the world population, many of whom are labor migrants, with a great number being women and children. Now, how important is migration? So much attention is always put on the negative aspects of migration that little is being said about the importance of migration. It is understandable that countries are concerned about security and safety of nationals, since migration can lead to a change in attitude, a change in culture, and a loss of jobs for locals. As a result, a lot of restrictions are being implemented. A good example is Donald Trump's Mexico wall saga. The EU is also restricting its borders and trying to block migrants even before they reach its territory. Then there is the famous Brexit, which saw the UK leave EU because they did not want the unnecessary influx of migrants into their country. These are just a few examples to name. It is increasingly getting difficult to reach across borders in Europe and America, so much so that people prefer to risk their lives at sea and in the jungles. Migration, however, is important to development both for developing and developed countries alike. Developing countries benefit through remittances sent back to families and loved ones in the countries of origin, which contributes enormously to socioeconomic development. Migration also contributes to an increase of the younger workforce and employment needs, especially in population declining societies in the West. Finally, migration contributes to cultural diversity, which helps to enhance the culture in the host country through music and food. Now, what is the way forward with migration then? In my opinion, in order to reduce the increase in migration, governments of the different home countries need to revisit their developmental policies, think more about the citizens, and implement policies and changes that will prevent citizens from leaving. Considering that this is far-fetched, it is important to develop constructive, regulated, and flexible migration policies in all aspects for both home and host countries. We have come to the end of the video, dear friend. I do hope that you enjoyed it and gathered some useful information. If you did like this video and you would like to watch similar videos, then please like, share, and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will be the first to be notified when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.